Okay, hands down. I want to welcome all family, student, staff. Thank you so much for coming. We don't really do assemblies very often, so I want to remind you of the proper etiquette, and that is we're respectful to the speaker who I'm going to introduce in just a moment. Your eyes are on that person. Your mouths are quiet. Your ears are listening. And we're showing the respect that this person deserves, okay? Also, we're gonna hold our applause, and you'll kind of know when a good time is to interject that, and then we're all going to stop at the same time, okay? Let's get started. Now, Paris, you all know Paris, right? One of the busy bees, was supposed to give this introduction, but Paris hurt her head, and so she had to go home, so you have me. Everybody, I am Melissa Ehlers. I'm the principal. I think most of you already know me. I know you know me, okay? All right. So we're excited to have a special guest with us today, and I have the honor of introducing T. Mycheal Rambo. T. Mycheal Rambo is a 3-time Midwest Emmy Award-winning actor, vocalist, arts educator, author, and public speaker, who's made an indelible mark in the Twin Cities, performing principal roles at the Guthrie, Penumbra, 10,000 Things, The Ordway, Illusion, Mixed Blood, Park Square, History Theater, Children's, and Minnesota Opera. Nationally and internationally, his credits include Carnegie Hall and performances abroad in Africa, Europe, and South America. He appears in local and national television commercials, feature films, HBO miniseries, and other television programming. His most recent endeavor, a collaboration with New York Best Time-selling author Resmaa Menakem to co-author a companion children's book to Mr. Menakem's book, My Grandmother's Hands, entitled The Stories from My Grandmother's Hands, is now available both online and in bookstores nationally. T. Mycheal is an accomplished auctioneer, MC, motivational public speaker, and affiliate professor in the College of Liberal Arts, Theater Arts, and Dance at the University of Minnesota. Let's give a warm welcome to Mr. T. Mycheal Rambo.
Well, hey everybody, I say how do you do? I got something in store for you. It's a song I'm fitting to make up just for you and for me. Just you wait and see. Well, I'm here at Frost Lake School, here to have loads of fun. Well, the fun has just begun. Come on and clap your hands 3 times. And stomp them feet. Put your hands in the air. Wave them like you just don't care. Well, we're here today at Frost Lake Elementary School. I ain't no fool. Yeah, I'm mighty happy to be here with you. Here in your school to do the things that I do here at Frost Lake Elementary. Hey! Frost Lake Elementary School, yes, sirree. Well, I want you to do the things that you hear and that you see me do for you. Here we go and skip school.
Skip school.
Ba-ba-da-ba. Yo, oh, oh.
Yeah, oh,
A bodie-odie-do. Well, we're here today, here to have loads of fun. Well, we've invited some guests to be in your school. We know that our guests and you are mighty cool here at Frost Lake Elementary. Frost Lake Elementary School. Well, it's National African American Day, National African American Parent Involvement Day, and we're here to say, hey, have a nice day. We're so happy you're here with us here at Frost Lake Elementary School. Oh yeah. Welcome everybody. Hey. Hey, that's Rob from What's Up. Anyway, hey, guess what? Check this out. My name, as you may have heard, is T. Mycheal Rambo. And my last name is like a movie that's called Rambo. And I am a Rambo from Rambo, Texas. How about that? I know. You see, we'll talk more about this later. But I am from a town that was settled by freed, enslaved Africans. A town like throughout Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Texas. After the signage of the Emancipation Proclamation, there were many, many enslaved who once freed by the Emancipation Proclamation were no longer welcomed next to their one time those who held us in bondage. So, black folks like me, like many in this room, had to find spaces to live that accommodated, that welcomed us. And they were called freedmen towns. And I'm from a freedman town. My family, they were raised or held on a plantation by the Rambo, R-H-A-M-B-E-A-U-X, a French colonel who held in bondage many enslaved. And after the Emancipation Proclamation of 1863, we left the H behind, the E-A-U-X, bought a vowel like Wheel of Fortune, and we became Rambo. So I'm a Rambo from Rambo, and I'm up and through here to tell you the stories of grandmothers. I'm just curious, by a show of hands, how many of y'all up in here got grandmothers?
Everybody should raise their hand.
Well, I don't know, that may not be true. Hands down. How many of you had two grandmothers? Ooh, that's tight. Y'all so lucky. Heads down. Well, today, we are going to hear a story written by Resma Minicum and me, yours truly, T to the M to the Mycheal Rambo. Anyway, and it's called The Stories from My Grandmother's Hands. Before we get going, there's something that I really appreciate. The first thing, principal elders, teachers, family, you've got some really great scholars in this school. Your responsiveness, your attentiveness. Let's be a detective for a minute. Detext, T-E-X-T. When I teach third grade, I ask my writers to be detectives and take a word and take the text and see if you can be a detective and discover what it means. When I say you're attentive, can someone raise their hand? I'm not asking for the right answer. I'm asking what comes to mind. What comes to mind when you hear a word like attentive? Who wants to raise their hand? I'm asking what's in your mind, which is a scary thing for an adult to ask what's in your mind. Yes?
What do you mean by that?
That's what I'm saying. What comes to mind? When you hear the word attentive, what comes to your mind? What flashes in front of you? Yes?
I think it means something about tense.
Tense, yes, right. What's a tent do?
Like it protects you.
Oh.
And it's also used for like camping.
Okay. Protect, napping. Good stuff. Good start. Yeah. Say again. Okay. Tent, napping. Pay attention. Boy, that's a good start. I like that. Pay attention. Tent, napping. Anybody else? Yes.
Like being somewhere. Like I don't remember what it's called, but in the beginning of the day we checked to see what's here. I forgot what it's called.
Well, you know what? I'm going to ask if you all be okay with this working definition. That to be attentive is to ask the listener to pay attention and be safe in the space, like a tent where you take a nap. Would that work for y'all? Y'all looking at me like y'all watching TV. Stop playing with me. Would that work for y'all? Yes or no? So attentive means that you all are paying attention and that you're in a great space where you feel safe to be who you are. And there's nothing better than to be in a school where your teachers, your parents, and families recognize how much value you bring to the world and want to make sure you can be the best you can be. My grandfather was a high school principal, and he taught me the most important 10 two-letter words in the world. Would you repeat them after me? Okay, it goes like this. If it is to be It is up to me. If it is to be, it is up to me. So remember that, boys and girls. That does not mean that you're alone, that you have to do it by yourself. It just means that while you're here in elementary, then junior high, middle school, then high school, it's your job to make your voices be heard. And as black and brown and marginalized students and girls and people who sometimes don't get valued for who they are, people already decide who they think you are before you even open your mouth. So you have to open your mouth and let them know that you are amazing, that you're brilliant, that you soar outside the stars, that each one of you are unique like snowflakes, and ain't no other one just like you. So be the best version of you you can be. The book that you're about to hear was our attempt. No, it is what we have done to show that. And to get going with that whole attentive and classroom engagement, I'm going to ask you to do something for me. With your index finger, show me what the number one looks like. Okay. Now sit up straight and tall at the number one. I mean, back straight, shoulders proud. All right. Now, that right there, you are to look at the person talking, mouths closed, ears open. If ever you hear me say back to one, you stop whatever you're doing. Yeah, you know what? Back to one. And you look right at the person talking. That would be me, the big guy with the belly, up here. You look at me. You close your mouths. You open your ears and your eyes for the next direction. Thumbs up, you got me. Y'all good with that? When I make a sound with my mouth and an action with my hands, repeat the sound, the action after me. Y'all good with that? Yeah. All right, so block, block. Block, block. Shh, shh. Woo. Soft, quiet clap, no sound. No sound. And then we go. You got it? All right. Talk amongst yourself. Talk, talk, talk. When you hear me go. Blah, blah. Choop, choop, choop. Good job, boys and girls. Well, that being said, we're going to get into our story. So if ever you hear me give you either of those two directions, you know your job has become listening attentively, like you're under a tent taking a nap where you're safe. All right? So now we're going to listen to the stories of why black and brown bodies from Africa, the continent of Africa, speak the various languages that we speak, because the enslaved were placed in that condition by people who did that. You see, anybody in here ever wake up and say they want to be a slave today? No. Neither did the African people. So it's so important that we remember that our history didn't begin with slavery. It was before that. And so we must remember the value of who we are, who I am. And so whenever you hear someone talk about a person that is a slave, they are enslaved. Because that means that somebody put them there. And we need to recognize that it wasn't their fault that they were placed there. So repeat this phrase after me. Enslaved. 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 And then you say Africans, because Africa is where the enslaved people were from, and that lets us identify who we're talking about. Thumbs up, you got it. Cool. So, here we go. Enslaved Africans. Good job. Well, we're going to talk about these different languages and how they were put upon African people, and how our grandmothers give us rich wealth of knowledge and learning, and these are the stories from my grandmother's hands. Every 2 pages in this book is a story about a different grandmother. So you'll hear various different names for grandmothers, like I said earlier, that come from the different languages that African people now speak today. So here we begin with, let's see how I do with this clicker. I ain't do too well. Oh, well, let's see, try again. Ha! Look, how'd that happen?
What?
I want to go to the beginning. here comes my trusty assistant. Round of applause. That dude knows things. Woo-wee. See, look, I had no idea I had to actually scroll back to everything. Back to one. If I hear your voice and I'm talking, that's the wrong sound we need to hear. You good, you got it? All right. These are the stories from my grandmother's hands. My grandmother's hands are big like sunrise, with fingers thick and coarse, like the cornrows braided in her silver gray hair. My grandmother's hands picked cotton. Has anyone here ever seen cotton growing? Not cotton balls from Walgreens. I'm talking about cotton in the ground. It's pretty intense. Coming out of the South, I know what that looks like, and it's wow. Anyway, that's the first grandmother. Our next grandmother, we call her Granny. Anybody in here have a granny? A grandmother you call Granny? Okay, hands down. I'm taking him on the tour bus. This man's ready, boy. I like that. I like that in it. My granny's hands rest on her belly as she hums and sighs, rocks and sways like leaves swirling in the breeze. My grandmother's hands left handprints on my heart. How many have memories of their grandmother that left a memory on your heart that makes you smile? Yeah? Kind of nice, isn't it? You can put your hands down now. Thank you for that. Now this next one, this is the story of Big Mama. Anybody in here got a big mama like me? I got a big mama. My mother's we call her Big Mama. And the cool thing about this slide is it shows a picture of a grandmother cooking in her kitchen. Now, I'm just gonna keep it real. You can't be a real good chicken fried African-American person without Crisco on the counter. And there's Crisco on that counter. You see that can of Crisco? When I was growing up, either it was on the knees, the elbows, or in a pan for fried chicken. Crisco. The other thing, what else you know? If you're a Minnesotan, you gotta have gold medal flour. Come on now. Only adults might know what I'm talking about, and some of you may not. This is the story of Big Mama. Big Mama's hands cook collard greens, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken, and make pictures of fresh squeezed lemonade. Woo! My grandmother's hands sure could cook. This next grandmother, we call her Abuela. Can anyone all at once tell me what language is Abuela? 1, 2, 3.
Spanish!
Sí, es verdad. That's right, Spanish, Español. This is the story of Abuela. My abuela's hands turn the pages of books that lull me to sleep with stories of far-off lands and magical kingdoms. My grandmother's hands taught me to dream big. Hey, how many of you out there have big dreams? Cool. You can lower your hands, put your hands down. Now here's the next thing. Guess what, you all? Next time someone ever asks you that, I want everyone to raise your hand, because having a dream is important. And your teachers here at Frost Lake, and your parents and family members, they've learned and studied that meeting our children where they are is important. But this school's special. They meet their students where they dream. And where you dream is important. And where you dream allows you to become your greater yet to be. So I want you all to have big dreams. Because guess what? A big dream is so important because it'll make you dream that you're dreaming. This next grandmother, her name is Gigi. Anybody got Gigi out there? No, man, you can't have that many grandmothers. You can't. Oh, brother, Hotep, I'm so sorry to hear about your loss. Seriously, straight up. The ancestors are very important, brother. This Gigi is dynamite because she has a laptop. She's a contemporary granny. And she even looking at the 1619 project. She is so hip. Ooh. And if you don't know about the 1619 Project, boys and girls, I encourage and invite you to ask an elder, an older sister, brother, a guardian, or an adult, even a teacher, to guide you through a conversation about what's so significant about this particular project. My Gigi's hands type beautiful messages, sent heartfelt well wishes, and place stamps with brown faces on cards to family and friends. My grandmother's hands held memories, and those pictures are the memories for that grandmother. This next story is about avó. Avó is Portuguese for grandmother. And the Portuguese, they were enslavers of African people that ended up in Brazil. And so Portuguese is the language of Brazilian people. And this is the story about avó from Brazil. My avó's hands cradle my face, pinch my cheeks, and make me smile out loud. My grandmother's hands brought me joy. The next story, this one is about Oma. Oma is the Zulu language of South Africa, where I teach. Every 2 years I teach in the townships outside of Cape Town. And Africa has over 52 countries. Africa is a continent, not a consonant. And there are countries on the continent of Africa. At some point you'll learn more and perhaps even choose to study about Africa. This is the story of Oma. My Oma's hands snap and clap, brush against one another while she taps her feet and laughs like fireworks. My grandmother's hands made music. How many of y'all like music? Yeah. How many of y'all play an instrument? Nice. Hands down, great. This next story is about the British or the English language spoken by the British, who were also a part of that triangular slave trade and gave to the Nigerians who were colonized by the British this word, Nana. Anybody call their grandmother Nana? You do? Yeah, Nana, I know. Does anyone happen to notice in the far left corner of this image something that strikes their eye? Does someone see something up in the corner, in the left-hand corner? Yes. Colors, yes. And does she see something round up by his elbow? A wheelchair. That's right. Resma and Leroy and I were very adamant. We were very strong, felt very strongly that the people who read this book need to see other ableness, that all of our family and community members need a place in our books, in our schools, in our homes and communities where they can be themselves. And this young boy is laying on a quilt. My Nana's hands push, pull, glide, and guide me down curvy sidewalks toward spaces where I can pause and be still. My grandmother's hands showed me how to soothe my soul. These two pictures on the wall are pictures of Resma's grandmother and mother, and the lower one is my grandmother, Thelma Mycheal, who survived the Tulsa massacre and went on to be an English teacher at Fisk University. I'm very proud to be able to have included her in the pages of this book. We move on to Grand. Anybody call their grandmother Grand? Mm-hmm. Yeah, cool. This is Creole, Haitian, French. Je parle français, monsieur, madame, mademoiselle? No, je parle français, un petit peu français? Forget about it. My grand's hands make shadow puppets and finger paint gardens of colorful flowers. Uh-oh, my fingers won't work. Colorful flowers. My grandmother's hands were creative. Anyone out here like to draw or paint or sculpt or any of those things? Art is really cool. That is, yeah.
I like to draw.
You like to draw? I love to hear that. It's cool. Yeah. Now, if you'll notice these two women over her shoulder, the one on the left with the silver gray afro, that's my big mama. That's my big mama. Don't she look like a big mama? If she don't, she does, because she is. That woman sure could cook. She could smile and shut down the sun, and she could cut you with a word. Anybody got a grandmother like that? Who got one word, one look, and you know you've been hit. That's right, that's right. She didn't play. She did not mess around. This next story is the last story of our grandmothers. It's a grandma. Grandma. Anybody call that grandmother grandma? Grandma. Grandma. Yeah, I like that one. Heads down. My grandma's hands wrap me up in a blanket of love and plant me in the now like a deeply rooted tree. You'll notice that this grandmother has her grandbaby wrapped up in a quilt. And the quilt was so significant to African Americans because it showed how African people may have come to North America with empty hands, but not empty minds. They took scraps, little pieces of nothing, and made something. And the something were quilts that warmed us and kept us and protected us like a tent where we slept safely. Those quilts also held hidden messages for those who were seeking freedom. Our quilts showed the pathway to the north. This is the great image of what the quilt has meant to African American people. This last page, my grandmother's hands always reminded me to breathe. Would y'all do me a favor? Check this out. Not only if you're comfortable and you feel like this is something you'd be okay with, would anyone choose to join me and close their eyes for a moment? Just close your eyes. And while your eyes are closed, I'd like you to breathe collectively with this room, joining together, creating community through our breath. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And this last one, make this the best breath you've had all day. There's no better breath than this breath right here. And when we exhale, make a ha sound. Inhale, exhale. Boys and girls, parents, family, friends, these were the stories of my grandmother's hands. Thank you.
Okay, everybody, thank you so much, families, for coming, students, staff, for being here today. Let's give Mr. T. Mycheal Rambo one more round of applause, everybody. Thank you. I'm going to hand the microphone over to Ms. Hughes.
I'm going to ask for another round of applause, but I just want to say thank you so much for coming, T. Mycheal Rambo. It is really an honor, and we are blessed to have you here today. So I want to send a special acknowledgement out from one sister to a brother. Come on now.
Okay. We are going to give him a little Frost Lake song. So everybody stand up. Let's do this right, okay? Here we go. F-R-O-S-T.
Frost Lake Elementary. Frost Lake, Frost Lake. Warnings, here we go.
I'm responsible. I'm respectful. I'm a learner. And I'm safe.
We are the leaders. We are the leaders.
All right. One more round of applause. Make it a good one. Yeah. Okay. Teachers in the back, let's start filing out. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day.